things in my German parents' 1970s house that don't make any McFrickin' sense.
No food in the fridge. But look at all these. Hey guys, welcome to our Wednesday class. Today is the 3rd. You might want to take some time and revisit No Other Country. Just take a minute and glance it over. Remember what we talked about on Monday. We are going to be doing a creative writing assignment that has to do with this story. All right, many of you know I actually focused in creative writing in graduate school, and I've taught creative writing courses when I worked at Penn State. So we are going to be doing a little bit of creative writing work. If you go to Wednesday the 13th, you will see what our assignment is for this week. Identity and belonging are two big concepts or big ideas that go together yet also exist apart from each other. We all have an identity and we all have a need to belong, and the implication is we cannot have one thing without the other. Belonging is a basic human need according to most people, and we all need to belong to someone and or something. Our sense of belonging is influenced by experience, background, values, views, and many other aspects. It contributes and shapes our identity and vice versa. We may belong to others, institutes, places, and all our memories. If we did not belong, we would feel excluded, displaced, and alienated. That something is missing and shapes our identity in negative ways. We all have experienced belonging to family, friendships, groups, religious groups, ethnic groups, sports groups. They're all not weighted the same. Others have a strong passion for special causes or interests, and these will shape the course of their lives. Given the importance of belonging, we can see how sometimes this becomes problematic for all of us. We are who we may be in direct contact. Who we are may be in direct contrast with what is acceptable to others, and the result is conflict. There's often a personal cost to belonging. Finally, our identity is constantly changing and developing, which is challenging for some people to accept. There's one word that comes to mind when we describe what the inner courtyard in No Other Country is. A sanctuary, a place of refuge or safety, somewhere special. This can mean somewhere that you've never been before and you just imagine it, or it can mean somewhere that is familiar, somewhere that you think about as your home. Some places are special to us because events that took place there or how they make us feel. A special place can somewhere we can go to feel safe, understood, or just happy. I want us to think about special places from your childhood or the present, or even places that you just imagine yourself in the future. Where are they? What's so special about them? Describe them as vividly as you can, including all the sights, sounds, and smells. You're welcome to add images or photos, draw something, show me pictures from your childhood if you want. Whatever medium is going to be best for you to express yourself. When I think of somewhere that's familiar to me and somewhere that I feel accepted and safe, oddly enough, I think of my parents' hometown, which is weird because when I was a teenager and even in my early 20s, all I wanted to do was get as far away from this place as I possibly could. But then when I moved to different parts of Pennsylvania and later Delaware, I realized how unique this place is and how many things I wouldn't see and I would miss when I moved. I grew up in a very small German community in a little town called Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and there are a lot of things here that we just don't have. It was almost like going to a completely different country. People here speak, kind of a combination of German and English. I don't hear that other places. I go to all these grocery stores and bakeries. There are these things called Diefenbach's chips. You can only buy them here in Pennsylvania, and they're the best chips I've ever had. Nothing compares to these chips. They're delicious, and I can't find them anywhere else. And so every time I come back here, I buy like 30 bags of these chips to bring back with me to Delaware. There are all these baked goods, little cookies called Sam Tarts, and all these different pies that you can only get here, and only people here seem to have the recipe for. I can't find them online. I can't seem to always get them right when I make them myself, and no one else seems to ever heard of them. There are these phrases that I sometimes say, and people who have had me in class have heard me say things like, "Oh yeah, out in lights." And they're like, "What are you saying?" But everyone here knows what I'm talking about when I say that. They know that I mean to turn out the light. I moved from a place where I have about 5 acres of woods behind my house, and me and my sisters used to go out back and, mess with wild animals and potentially get rabies and climb the trees and break your arm like 3 different times climbing the trees. And at the time I took that for granted. People's childhoods look a lot different than that. And it's weird when, living in Wilmington now, I don't have 3 acres of woods behind my apartment. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I don't have space like that like I used to. I can't just go into a public park and go climb a walnut tree as high as I can and go play Pokemon at the very top until my mom comes out and sees me so high up there and then remembers the 3 different times someone may or may not have broken their arm and fallen out of said tree and needed to go to the hospital. Sometimes I get a song stuck in my head, and that song doesn't exist anywhere on the internet. I have to call my mom and be like, "What is this? Why do I have it stuck in my head?" And only people from this area are really going to recognize what that is. Back here in Lebanon, it's somewhere that's very special to me. I've never been somewhere that's like this place, and I'm not sure I ever will. So when I think of what an inner courtyard means to me, I think of the woods behind my house. I think of climbing the trees and eating my mom's sand tarts and vanilla pies. I think of playing in the river where I probably shouldn't be playing because may or may not have gotten a couple fish hooks stuck in my foot. And I think of just running around in the grass barefoot. I think of the songs that people used to sing when you're walking around the farmer's market and the smell of fresh bread. And so take a minute, think about, what does your inner courtyard look like? Is it somewhere you've been before? Is it somewhere you hope to go? Why does it feel special to you? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? Like I said, feel free to draw and send me those pictures, send me photos, whatever medium you're going to feel comfortable with, to express what your sanctuary looks like.